A very welcome to the news in details now. Entrepreneurs who have invested in the country consent with the results of the report made by CEO World Magazine Entrepreneurship Index 2021, which ranked Rwanda second after South Africa in terms of facilitating the private sector to work safely. Olive Nete has this report.
It is a report based on various pillars, including the ability to do innovations, the ability to compete in the private sector, ease of access to capital, openness for business, labor skills, and many others. Rwanda was ranked second after South Africa on this continent and 50th out of 190 countries surveyed. The closest regional countries in the report are Kenya at 63rd and Ghana at 77th. This is said to be a result of facilitating the business environment to entrepreneurs, as some emphasizes it.
I would say Rwanda deserves to have a good position in doing business, as it creates a good environment for the investors to come in. Like in our business, electric mobility, where we are now dealing with electric cars and electric motorcycles. The government facilitates us. The business cycle, if you say from the start, operations and growth, all the way government supports you in the sense that like now in our business, the taxes have been waived. Getting electricity is very easy. They give you a transformer in the forum of doing business. At the end of the day, it becomes so easy for you to do the business. If the tax importation taxes are waived, the VAT on taxation are waived. So in that way, the government deserves to have that position in doing business.
Nyuma yo kubona ikibazo cyari kibangamiye isi muri rusange.
After facing a challenge that was faced by the whole world of air pollution due to smokes that comes from vehicles, we approached the American company NASA in its department that produces lubricants. We negotiated with them and they agreed to work with us. But the reason they agreed to work with us is because we are Rwandans, and also because they know that Rwanda has good governance and that it assists investors so that businesses can be done smoothly. This encourages us to work in Rwanda. It also helps us because our government encourages us to aim higher. We have to think big and also do big things. That's why this investment will benefit Africa, because it started in Rwanda.
The
report of the Rwanda Development Board on Investment published this year shows that in 2021 the country's investment had increased significantly compared to 2020, because last year the country had an investment of $3.7 billion, while in 2020 Rwanda investments was $1.3 billion. The spokesperson of the Private Sector Federation, Nagengerwa Theonest, notes that in Rwanda there are laws that facilitate the private sector and they are implemented. He also points out that they have a forum where they meet and discuss on possible solutions about various challenges that may arise.
The legal environment is very clear. We know what is supposed to be done. And actually, the difference between one and the other countries are items that are in this legal instrument and laws that are implemented. If we say that can open an online business on online, it is possible and it is feasible. And in addition to that, also there are some other venues or platforms that where we can discuss challenges, difficulties that are affecting businesses. So we know that when we start businesses, we are going to be facilitated through legal instruments that are already in place. But also when there is challenges, there is venues that we can discuss and solve those issues.
The value of the country's investment has increased by 9.4% because it was at $1.9 billion in 2020 and reached $2.1 billion in 2021. And service delivery has increased by 11% in 2021 compared to the year 2020. The increase in investments has also increased employment rate opportunities by 97% because about 48,669 people got employed in 2021, while about 24,703 were employed in 2020 due to the investments made at that time. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Oli, for that report. Now, former street vendors in Kigali City are happy that after being given markets, it has changed their lives for the better. However, they request that new vendors are facilitated with startup capital. Adams Kwezeda has this report.
Those working in these markets are former street vendors who say that it has saved them from the problems they've been facing, and also working together helps them to support their families, as this also helps them to save money from the groups.
We've been trading on streets as we faced some challenges of colliding with police and running away from them. Some were caught, but by now we are safe. We don't have any problem. By then we don't have to run away. We have time to cook food for our children. At any time we can get back at work. It didn't value us to see a mother jumping off the car after getting caught. It was very sad. But now we thank God. We found security. We found a new market. The only problem we have is little capital and few customers. The change is that now I no longer sneak with the leaders. Anytime you can find me here, even though we lack enough capital, since the customers can't find what they need. As you see, the market is still new.
The city of Kigali says that the most of these street vendors have already been given places in the markets, but there are others who are still trading in disorder, and they are influenced by the customers who buy from them, as this won't be related. Vice Mayor in charge of socio-economic affairs, Urugeni Martin, noted that they are still building other markets, and ones who were censored will get facilitated to have places in those markets, as she added up that there are programs that were set up to help them, including not paying tax and providing them plots until the end of the period they gave them.
We are setting some instructions that will assist the street traders to get introduced in financial services such as VUP in order to take a part in financial development programs and their business. The other thing that should be implemented is the instructions that were voted by the Kigali City Council on the penalties that should be given to these street traders and their customers who influence them, as these instructions are not implemented currently.
The 2016 census indicated that there were 12,197 street vendors in Kigali City, and this year 3,977 were counted, and they will also get places in available markets and other markets that are still under construction. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
The government of Rwanda has assured that petroleum products will continue to be available on market and provided a subsidy of 10 billion Rwandan francs to mitigate the effects of rising petroleum prices. Take a look. The price of a litre of petrol has increased by 149 Rwandan francs, and that of diesel has increased by 104 Rwandan francs. This increase in prices is said to be due to the increase in price of petroleum products on the international market and the increase in the cost of transportation and insurance.
This is helping people, because as the prices went up, transport agencies had decided to use fuel cars as the rest were packed. But due to government's contribution, prices are normal, except for some independent public buses that decided to charge a ridiculous transport fare.
The Minister of Infrastructure, Dr. Nsabimana Ernest, says that had the government not provided a subsidy of 10 billion Rwandan francs, the prices could have gone up even more. He assured that the increase in prices will not affect the travel fare and that the country has enough petroleum products.
The price of diesel would have been at 1,757 Rwandan francs, meaning an increase of 254 to the current price, while the price of petrol would have been at 1,767, which would have been an increase of 307 Rwandan francs to the current price. As we talked about earlier, the government did an evaluation on these prices previously and provided a subsidy, which it has undergone again, and provided a subsidy of 10 billion Rwandan francs so that the prices can decrease.
The Minister of Trade and Industry, Professor Ngabitsinze Jean Chrysostome, says that the government has put in place measures to prevent people from using the increase in the prices of petroleum products to raise the prices of other products even when it is not necessary. He stressed that the ministry aims to protect the interests of traders and consumers.
The government protects the interests of traders and consumers, but when people abuse that right and start increasing prices unnecessarily in the name of increase in that price of petroleum products, we have authorities that monitor prices on market on daily basis, and we get different results on weekly basis. So we do follow up and get those traders that are increasing prices unnecessarily.
The spokesperson of the private sector, Theoneste Ntagengerwa, says that the support given by the government at different times in the field of transport has benefited all Rwandans. The efforts the government of Rwanda has put in addressing the increase of petroleum product prices shows how it puts the interests of the people at the forefront. It is also urging those who use the increase in the price of petroleum products to increase prices of other products to stop it. Doctors and nurses at health centers and hospitals in Kicukiro district have started to receive the knowledge of how to treat people with skin disorders that usually do not have the ability to diagnose and treat them, yet they are in constant danger of developing skin cancer. Nurieth Agasaro has this report.
Medical experts say that untreated skin disorder can lead to skin cancer, which is why doctors and nurses at regional health centers and hospitals are being trained on how to diagnose and treat them. Where we live, where we work, we meet them often, but we didn't know what to do for them. We felt that they should live with them that way, but we also learned a lot of good things and some advices we can share to them. We also learned how we can treat them based on what we saw. We learned how we can talk to them in a way to make them understand that they are people like others, they are born like others, and they are capable of doing anything like others.
The reason for this treatment, or skin care, is to prevent skin damage or skin cancer caused by the sun. Because these people have a white skin problem. The main problem they have is the sun. That's why we have to take care of this type of treatment, which is the thing we take care of every day. This training helped us a lot because on the first day, we started looking at the theory together, which is what helped us. Today, it is practical method to make sure that what we have learned in the theory and how it is used.
They are given creams that help their skin, hats and sunglasses that reduce the light, and treat the skin rashes that can lead to skin cancer if left untreated. Jean-Paul Nduwayezu is one of the 500 people who have been diagnosed with the skin disorder, and Josiane Ishimwe has a child with the condition. Both are happy to have access to those services.
Last time I went to the hospital, I went to CHK, and they told me they have to operate my eyes because they said that it was impossible for me to see far, that I'm completely blind. They have to operate them, but another doctor came and said no. That's how they are born. What we can do for him is to give him eyeglasses. So it is an opportunity when there is a person who can diagnose them.
We had a problem especially with the transportation because we came from far in the village and mostly came to ask for the service. But if they bring it to the health center where we live, it will help us a lot. The Executive Director of Health Alert Volunteers, James Mugume, says that who are being trained will assist them in providing transfers that were usually very difficult for those with skin disorders.
We were faced with many problems of transfers because when we went to the clinic to examine them, we found that they are examining the person that we suspect that he or she has skin cancer. So that to get the transfer that make them to go to another secondary treatment was hard, but now we have someone at the health center who examine this person and give them transfers based on what they saw or send them to another higher treatments. But if the person went up for the referral hospital and examined, that will make them to be treated so fast and get the right treatment.
Starting in the Rutsiro district, they are training local nurses and doctors so that within 3 years, They will have trained some of them from 7 districts. In another 2 years, they will have trained one from each health center and hospital at the district level in all 30 districts of the country.
Well, there you have it. On behalf of the entire news production team, thank you so much for your company. I'm Jane Motoni. Bye for now.